Okay, great. We're going to go ahead and get. All right. Well, thank you all for joining the webinar today. Hope you're all doing well. And I know it's Tuesday, so it's been a day, but I hope you had a great weekend as well. Again, my name is Jovita, and I am the Volunteer Services Director for Volunteer Florida. Just real quickly, in case you aren't familiar with our organization, we're the governor's lead agency for volunteerism and national service in Florida, and we're the lead agency for volunteers and donations before, during, and after disasters. Many of you may have heard of AmeriCorps. It's kind of like a domestic Peace Corps, but really extraordinary program. We have about 1,400 AmeriCorps members and about 40 different programs. These are nonprofits and government groups across the state who have applied and received grant dollars to have these AmeriCorps members performing different types of direct service in their organization. So we have a number of different types of grants available in addition to AmeriCorps. So definitely check out our website if you potentially have an interest, and you can always email me if you have an interest as well. And my email address just in general is volunteer@volunteerflorida.org. If you ever have any questions about Volunteer Connect or anything about Volunteer Florida, please let me know, and I'm happy to answer those. Another quick thing I want to do is just some housekeeping. Just a reminder that if you have registered for Volunteer Connect, then you have agreed to a number of things. The key ones are, making sure you're following the guidelines, that you promptly update contact information. If you move, for example, to a different position, or you win the lottery and you leave your organization, just making sure that especially that email address is accurate, so that individual, any new or different individual, can register, can continue to post opportunities and hear whatever updates we have. Another key one is just trying to respond to volunteer inquiries within 3 business days, if not sooner than that. That helps volunteers feel appreciated, and then certainly reflects well on your organization. So a couple of other things there that we want to make sure you all know. I won't go through everything. We want Volunteer Connect to be available for all organizations around the state, and that's quite a few, many of which we don't have a personal relationship with. So it's important not to indicate that Volunteer Florida endorses your organization or activity specifically. You are all nonprofits or government groups, so participation in political or legislative activities is prohibited. No discrimination in any way, of course. No proselytization. That's always a hard word to say. Certainly we have many organizations that are faith-based organizations, but not specifically to promote religious views. And then no requesting of financial support or fundraising. If you want someone to be the registration attendant for your 5K that's there to raise money, that's great. That's a volunteer opportunity. But saying we want you to donate $25 is something different. Or advertising any goods or services. So let's say you're a nonprofit and maybe you have, a thrift store or something, come by things at our thrift store. That's the kind of thing we want to avoid as well. We really want volunteers to just see those opportunities and be able to focus on that. Alrighty, so today we're going to cover a couple of different things, and this is really what Volunteer Connect can do, using Volunteer Connect for volunteer recruitment all the way through reporting. And you can just use this for recruitment. There's no need to use any of the features that you don't have an interest in. So I'm just going to go through each of these, particularly recruitment and scheduling, because those are, I think, the most important here. If you have questions along the way, please let me know. I'm going to work on making this less than an hour for you. And then, of course, as we go, as I mentioned, just please let me know if you have questions. And I really hope that Volunteer Connect ends up being something that's really beneficial for you and your organization. So recruitment. one of the things you want to be sure that you do before you even post an opportunity is make sure that your organization profile is accurate. So when you registered, the information that you gave us is the information that shows up on the website. So if you put a mission statement that was, you quickly typed it in, didn't have great grammar, doesn't really explain all the details of what you do, you can go back in your account and change that. So this is just something that I did for Volunteer Florida. I just made up the name of an organization. And you'll see my impact area, population served, and then we don't give the actual address, but just the city, state, and zip here. The opportunity to edit is there. So we've got bold, italics. It's called a what you see, what you get editor. You can hyperlink things. You can put in pictures and so on. So feel free to do that the way that you want, and make sure that you have, I think it's always great to have that logo that you upload. So just remember that that's kind of a core part of recruitment, is making sure that that information is there and helpful for people if they click on your organization's profile. This is what it looks like to the public. So here's an example of an opportunity, and I'll show you, by the way, where to go to edit your organization profile. Here's something that I did. I just typed it up. You'll see the picture here, the bold, you'll see the hyperlinks are in that green color, that lime green. You can change colors, all kinds of great things. But it's a good bit of information, but I tried to organize it in a clear, kind of concise way. So just be thinking about that as well. It can really catch the eye of individuals. When you click in volunteer when you go to the volunteer opportunity form, you're entering an issue area, you're entering requirements and so on. A lot of those pop up in the opportunity detail. So here's an example of the kinds of things not to do. And I know you all are familiar with this and totally understand. But this editor that you can use to write the description does quite a few things. So doing something overwhelming like this is not helpful for volunteers. It doesn't catch their eye. If anything, as I'm sure you all see, as you're looking at it, it's distracting and it's not professional looking. So just keep that in mind, what you want this to look like. What do you want to convey to the public? Again, you've got great ways, bullet points, bold, to clearly provide information to individuals. And so, doing that is really going to be helpful for those volunteers. So real quickly, you all have probably seen, if you've logged in already, but you can go to, let's see if we can get you to be able to see here. Let's see if I can. Okay. So you can see at the top right, the login button. And so you would go, should all have, your password that you've received. And that takes you into the sharing portal. That's what we call it. And here you'll find all kinds of information. You'll see where you can, on the left side, that's kind of your main area. You'll see that's where you are able to create your opportunities, edit them, all of that. You'll see that My Organization section that I mentioned on that left side. Obviously, these screenshots are from a little while ago, but you'll see upcoming webinars if we have them, information, and there's some hyperlinks there at the bottom as well that you can use. So let's see. Alrighty, let's go on. All right, so that My Organization section that I mentioned, you'll see here that you can edit that mission statement, your website, a number of things as you go along here with your organization contact information. And then you'll see at the bottom, this Create Organization Contact. Now, if you registered the organization, then you're the one who people are going to see as the default coordinator for opportunities. You're the only one who can access the sharing portal, and ideally we don't want you sharing a password for the one account. you can add new people here. You would just enter their information, and then once you do that, you'll see here for Red Tree Lake, request portal access. And you just do that. I review all of these things and then create, just give that access. And then you have multiple people who can come in and assist with creating or editing volunteer opportunities and so on. And they'll have access to every part of your account. So there's that request portal access there. As I mentioned before, you've got a number of different opportunities to kind of learn more about being partner staff down there at the bottom. And then here you see your volunteer opportunities, and that's on that left navigation pane, volunteer opportunities. And then you see create opportunities. You see here all of the existing opportunities you've had or former opportunities you've had. So most of the sections of the site have ways for you to filter. So you see this green box. You can click, for example, on posting status, and you'll see a lot of these say they're archived, and that's because they're no longer active. So if you do that, if you post, if you filter by these schedule registration types, you'll see exactly what you need. And of course, you have keyword at the top. And like I said, that is provided for most of the sections of the account. So it's helpful, especially if you have a lot of volunteer opportunities. You can click any of these opportunities. If they're live ones, you can go in and edit them as needed. If they aren't live, you can still just go through and look at everything that you had originally entered in for the opportunity. So when you create an opportunity, the most important thing is to know how you want to schedule the opportunity. And there are two ways to. One is a date and time specific opportunity. And you'll see this in the, when you go to the volunteer opportunity site, create volunteer opportunity, right after you enter the name of the opportunity, you'll see two radio buttons, one for date and time specific and one for individually scheduled. And then there's registration, which we'll go on to. Date and time specific, you need a certain number of volunteers. There are defined occurrences. An occurrence is kind of like a shift. You can kind of think of it that way. It's not quite that, but it can be helpful to think of it that way. And it's for one-time or recurring occurrence support. So you'll see here, I need 5 volunteers every Monday for the next 5 weeks from 10 to 12. And I also need volunteers on a Friday from 3 to 4. I mean, it can be a combination of things, but you can do recurring, and you can do individual ones, all for the same opportunity. You don't have to keep creating volunteer opportunities for each of those occurrences. And then for individually scheduled, schedule type, same thing as date and time specific within individually scheduled, different thing. That one is you need volunteers for a specific time frame within that time frame. So I need volunteers from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., but volunteers can come at any time during that time frame. So somebody can sign up and say, I would like to be there from 10 to 12, for example. And that way they have some flexibility there. That means when you say individually scheduled, it means the individual is telling you when they're available. That's kind of a way to think about it. So those are the two things. One is obviously more specific, and then one has some more flexibility to it. So that date and time specific schedule type has 2 registration types. You can have sign up, and this is they register for an occurrence, and they are automatically confirmed. So you want to make sure that that's fine. If you have background checks to do, applications to fill out, and so on, you'll want to avoid this one. The moment, let's say you've said that you need 20 individuals for that particular occurrence, let's say it's from 8 to 10 a.m., you need 5 people. If that gets filled to the 5, there'll be a wait list that individuals can get on. So that's sign up, very direct. This is All right, please come. We need you for this specific time. Yes, you're going to be there. Wonderful. And then if you have a date and time specific opportunity and you'd like people to register as express interest, they are not automatically confirmed. So that's where if you have some extra things you need for those volunteers to do before they can be confirmed, this is the ideal registration type for you under date and time specific opportunities. So when you do this date and time specific, it's going to ask you if you want it to recur, yes or no. You can add occurrence names and occurrence descriptions, but keep in mind, let's say you have 10 occurrences every Monday for these 10 weeks, for example, plus let's say you put in 5 other ones. For 15, if you have some detailed name and description for each one, that's going to be really overwhelming as they go through and decide which occurrence they need. So you just want to be careful whether you really want to put a name and a description in for specific occurrences. You'll put a date, a start, and an end time, and that's that. You can create additional occurrences as you go, but again, this is one individual one when you click no that it's not on a regular schedule. Or you can go ahead and just create the opportunity. You've got that one opportunity, one thing that you want happening there, and you don't need other occurrences. So here's an example real quickly. There are 3 different times that you need volunteers. They're all in the yellow, and you need them for these different times. This is one of those examples where maybe it's not recurring, but I've just got a couple of different dates I wanted to put in. So you could have one opportunity with these 3 occurrences. Volunteers can sign up for any of them, or just 1 or 2 of them. That's their, that's up to them. So if there's a recurring schedule, this is great. When does that start and when does that end? So let's say it is September 1st to September, what is it? 30 days have September, April, June. Okay, so September 1st through September 30th, we'll go ahead and put that start date and that end date. And then because it's recurring, it's the exact time on each of those dates. So we'll say start time, 9 a.m., end time, 12 p.m., okay? Now this is great. Here's where the recurring type happens. Do you want this to happen every single day in September or every single weekday in September? Those are your daily options, which is great. Okay, so this is an example of that when it scrolls down. You can also have a weekly recurrence, and you can either do a day of the week. So you want every Monday. That can be how you do weekly. You can have multiple days of the week. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of September at these times. So this is really helpful when you have that ongoing, just consistent volunteer, those consistent options. And then you can also do monthly. You can do the second Monday of the month, or you have a calendar day. So any of those types of recurrences, you're able to do in the date and time specific scheduling option. Again, you can do either that express interest, which means they're not automatically confirmed, or you can do that sign up where they are automatically confirmed. So lots of options for you there. Now, keep in mind, if you do a regular recurrence of any kind, you're going to have occurrences for every single one of those recurrences listed. So if I did every single day of September from 10 to 12, then I'm going to have 30 different occurrences listed. You can't go back and edit that. You would need to go in and delete those one by one. Now, at any time, if you've got quite a few, maybe more than 10 or so, you can email me and I can go in administratively and delete those for you, or if you've accidentally created something. So know that you've got help there, but really think about it, especially if you do a recurrence, that is going to expand out to individual occurrences when you're in your account trying to change things. So you'll see here that September 20th, September 19th, 18th there, it continues and continues. I just happen to do those 3 to 4 dates, but that can be something that you just have tons and tons of there. Okay, So here's what it looks like for the public. Above this section would be your opportunity description, the one that I showed you, for example, that I did. And just below that will be all the occurrences. So individuals will be able to see the day of the week, date and time. And then here I just happen to put an occurrence description. Okay, so it happens to be that these two occurrences, it's specifically an accelerated class to teach arithmetic to Asgardians. Asgardians, that's Thor. I'm into Marvel Comics movies, so pardon me if it's super dorky to you. But you'll see here the fourth, two different ones on the 4th, right? And then the next one is on March 9th, March 11th, March 23rd. Okay, just these varying dates. So anybody in the public can scroll through, they can see when each of these is. Note they can see city, date, city, state, and zip code. They can see how many spots are remaining. So here just one person has registered, and one at the top. And then that opportunity leader, if I, as Jovita Woodrich, am the only partner staff in the account, I will automatically be the person who is listed there, and I can be emailed by the volunteer. So if you want another individual to be that contact, then you're going to add them as a partner staff member, as we talked about earlier. And then this individual can just go ahead and sign up. And once they do that, they'll get a confirmation, and you will get a notification that somebody has registered for that specific occurrence. So you'll get notified of these things. Now this one is, for sign up. Now note that it's the same thing for that date and time specific scheduling, expressing interest. The only difference is at the bottom there, it says express interest. So that's just so that people know their automated email is going to say that they've expressed interest, and that, someone will be in touch with them. So they know that this isn't definitive yet. For the sign up, this one, the automated email will provide the address, some of the other details that you have entered from your form. Those will automatically be populated and sent to all individuals who sign up. Okay, so the other scheduling type that I mentioned, remember, this is the more flexible one that doesn't really have those very specific shifts, has 2 registration types as well. Let's see, how am I doing on time? Okay, your express interest with schedule, and that means 8 to 5, as I mentioned, but you can schedule any time within that time period. There's no automatic confirmation for this, because of course this is something that you need to say, yes, it's fine for you to come during that time. So you would need to go in and confirm that. And then with express interest, this is a great one if you generally just want to know that people have an interest in a volunteer opportunity. You do not have to put a single bit of a schedule on there or any details like that. It's just a general express interest. And this is where you can say in the opportunity description, here's what our organization does. We're working on developing several opportunities for September. Or maybe you're a disaster relief organization and you just want to have a listing of people who would be interested in serving in disaster response, things like that. Then people will just generally be able to do this, and then you can review that list of people and then connect with them as you want to do that. So this is that express interest with schedule under individually scheduled. So you'll see here it says Monday, 8 to 1 p.m. These are during the following periods. And then the public, the member of the public can enter in a specific date and time or a regular recurring schedule of dates. So in here, they may say, okay, those 2 Mondays, or if it were a recurring set of Mondays that were 8 to 1, which they aren't here, but I want to do 8 to 10 on all of these specific Mondays, if that makes sense. So lots of different ways that they can let you know what their availability is. And then the other one is this general express interest only. It says after expressing interest, the coordinator will contact you with additional information. That's it. And again, above here, you would have your opportunity details. This is a really great one that's very general that your organization can use. You just want to be sure at some point that you contact those individuals. So even if you don't have something coming up until later, or you just want to share some information, be sure that you let them know that you got their details, that you got their information. They get an email, but that email says, if there is anything to contact you about, the organization will contact you. So you just kind of want to be aware of that. So here's a picture of the actual creation of the opportunity. You'll see there the, what is that? You'll see the opportunity name. You'll see that scheduling type that I've been talking about, and that registration type and that description. Keep in mind, and we talked a little bit about, just obviously the formatting, but think about the language you use. Make sure it's concise and clear. Check your formatting. Consistent branding with your actual website. What's critical to promoting the opportunity? Just keep those things in mind. This is not ideal. Volunteers needed, help with tasks, things like that. You want to give a little bit more detail to people so they know what it is that they'll be doing. And then there are a number of other things you'll go through. You'll do a location. If you do that express interest, then that's going to just give that city, state, and zip. And you won't have to necessarily have that address. You can add a secondary impact area. You'll see to the right on that third column. That just helps with search if you add an additional impact area. But whatever you have for your impact and your age group and all of that for your organization as a whole, you don't have to have that same information or select those same things for your opportunity, which is great. You want to be sure that this minimum age, 18, whatever you want it to be, and note minimum age with adult. On the site, it's 13. So you just want to be sure that if it's 18, because no one under 18 can volunteer, that you switch it. And then your maximum attendees. If it's any amount of people, then just throw in 100 or 200, whatever you want to do. You'll see suitable for groups. Can lots of people come? Court ordered allowed, I think, is a wonderful opportunity to allow people who have a need to complete those hours to do so, only if that's something that is appropriate for the opportunity that you have. You can have the opportunity posted, but not allow registration until a certain time. So you want people to know about XYZ, but they can't actually register for it until this Friday. So they'll need to come back and do that. You can have a cutoff in hours. So let's say you don't want anybody to continue registering once it's 24 hours from the event. You would just put 24 there. Now, we do have a new feature so that if your opportunity is virtual, you'll just be able to click that here. This is an older screenshot, but you'll definitely see that as you post opportunities or create them in your account. So a couple of management things. In that, when you go back to edit your opportunity, first of all, you can click, there's a view opportunity on public site. So you can go back and actually look at what it's going to look like on the site, and then go back, kind of go back and forth to make sure, if you click back, you'll be back at the editing section and you can edit a few things. Then you can click that view as it is on the public site. So that's really helpful for you. Just want to make sure you knew that. When you go back and you click on the opportunity that you have an interest in looking at, you'll see once you scroll through the editing sections, you're going to see connections. And individuals who browse Volunteer Connect are just individuals. Once they click sign up or express interest or anything, they are connected to your organization. They're connected to your account. That's why they're called connections. So you'll see here, you can look by keyword if you're trying to find a particular person. If you want to email somebody, it's great. We do have an email function. It'll email straight to all of the people that you want. You can, of course, click email volunteers, and next to that blue square rectangle, you'll see that button where you can click that, and it will you will be able to email everyone or confirm everyone or decline everyone. So again, you can do a lot of filtering here in that blue section. You can mark people confirmed. This is in particular if you've done that express interest, date and time specific. So these are date and time specific start and end times you'll see here. And then you say, all right, Apple Washington has provided the information we needed. I'm going to go ahead and confirm her. You click the box next to her, and then you mark her confirmed. You can view her shift. Let's say she registered for multiple ones, and you just wanted to look at all the ones she's registered for. And then you can edit information for her in terms of her shifts. So she lets you know she's actually only going to be able to come until 10 a.m. You want to actually put that in the system. You can do that by clicking edit. So just keep in mind that you can do that. You'll see at the bottom right, previous and next and that one. Special note, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages and you click that all action at the top to the left of that rectangle, it's going to click everything on all pages, not just that first page that you're on. So keep that in mind as you go along. All right, so lots of things you can do with your connections and what you can see about what they're doing, what their status is, whether they've attended or not, the hours they served, and so on. So with attendance, and you'll see this, I'm sorry, it's cut off, but you can report attendance. Nobody's going to show up here if you've already reported attendance for them. They're going to be in that connection section. But so you can see at the top, Sally Smith, we we know the volunteer opportunity she showed up for. You can filter this so you can see all of Sally Smith's participation, or you can click by volunteer opportunity and look to see how many people you still haven't assigned registration to, assigned attendance to. For that start time and that end time, if you hover over the date time for Sally Smith, you can edit those if you want to. If you click next to teach arithmetic to taught for Sally Smith and you click that mark as attended button, then you're going to see her hours populate to the right in that hours column. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 down, Sally Smith, we've got her approved. Note that it's got 3 hours there, even though she had a shift that was 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. You can also just edit that instead of going through and making all of the shifts different times. That's not something that you need to do. Okay. So again, wanting to make sure you all see that profile, remembering to get that set up in an appropriate way for individuals. You'll see too, this is kind of cool with individuals who are on your site. Let's say they go to your organization profile. They can go, you'll see to the right underneath Volunteer Florida to see all volunteer opportunities with this partner organization, and they're going to get a list of only your opportunities. So if you wanted to, you can, copy the URL for this page, and then you can share that with people and let them know that they can see your opportunities from here, and it gives them that profile first, and then they can click on your opportunities if they wanted to do that. Again, just a quick example of the opportunity that I happened to put together. See, I put how you can help or what you need to know. Again, just wanting to be sure that people have the core information, not too much, but making sure that enough is there for them to understand. You can send the volunteer opportunity link. You can put it in your electronic newsletters. You can put it on, social media, of course, your partners or your existing volunteers, businesses, and so on. You can always send that to them. Also, a random note, if you go and you click on actually, you know what? We fixed that. Never mind. Pardon me on that. Okay, so I want to show you real quickly before you go the actual website. I just want to show you a couple of quick things, if you'll bear with me just a moment. Alrighty, so This won't take long. I just want you to see a few things. All right, so I'm going to log in here at top right corner, put in my password. Okay, so here we are. Sharing portal. All right, so I've got a little small for you. All right, so you'll see over in this left-hand column, on the, you'll see volunteer opportunities, that report attendance. You'll also see contacts there. And what I want you to note about that is that is, those are all of the people who have ever registered for any of your volunteer opportunities. So you'll have their email address, and then you can have a contact for them if they, a contact phone number if they have phone numbers in their own account. So that's really great. You'll also be able to see every opportunity that they've ever registered for. What's great about that is in their account, they get to have a civic history, and it will populate everything they've ever participated in. So that's really great for college students, high school students, things like that. So we, making sure that that's accurate is really helpful. So you'll see, I just kind of highlighted where that contact is. Here's where that my organization is, where report attendance is, and where volunteer opportunities are. I'm playing around with that highlighter. It's not quite what I thought it was, but thank you guys for your patience. Oh, and I don't know how to get it off now, so apologies about that. There we go, erase drawing. All right, so here are volunteer opportunities. Like I've mentioned, I can click on an opportunity. These have been archived. I've made them inactive, but you'll see here all of the information. Here at the top, you'll see that edit that I was showing you. You can edit the opportunity. You cannot edit schedule type or registration type. So that is most important to get right. You can edit the opportunity name, almost everything, actually everything else except that schedule type and registration type, to know what you want for those. So if we scroll down, we will see, you'll see the description there. You'll see location and so on. Again, all of these things you can edit. And as I mentioned before, you see this view volunteer opportunity on public site in the middle here. That's where you can click on it. I suggest right-clicking, open link in new tab. And then here you are, you're seeing this. And again, that was just an example. So this is that Latin stuff in there. So don't worry about that. But if I go in here and I edit, I don't have to keep clicking back and forth, because I can just go to this tab and click refresh, and it'll show me whatever I did just now. And then I can go back to this other tab, if that makes sense, if you want to do any editing. So you'll see here below all the connections. This is where you're going to see everybody who has registered in some way for the opportunity. And if they've registered for multiple occurrences, they're going to show up. So we've got Sally Smith multiple times and Red Tree Lake multiple times. It's going to show there all the information that we've talked about. If I click on Sally, I'm going to see what all of this information that's in the is here in these column headings. I'll see that. If I want to edit, this is what I mentioned before. I can check the status. Did she attend or not? The hours, a couple of different things that I can edit there. I think hopefully you can see there is a green square to the right of the first, the start time in that first row. That's where I can click on that, and I can automatically do changes there. And you'll see here at the bottom the occurrence. Now, for this particular type of opportunity, because it's individually scheduled express interest, these are the people who are, well, this one actually, I'm sorry. This is, let's see which one this is. Sorry about that. Yeah, individually expressed, individually scheduled. You'll see there's only one occurrence, and that's just because there aren't any shifts. You know, there's nothing for people to connect to. So when you edit this, it just says August 1st, 2019 through October 20th, 2020. That's the occurrence because people can just express interest, period, during that time, during that month and a half or so. So you'd only see one occurrence there. As I mentioned, in report attendance, you're only going to see people who whose attendance has not been marked in some way. So you can mass check if you want. Don't forget that goes to all the pages, or I can select specific individuals. Now, the last thing I want to show you under reports in that left-hand column, and then you'll see HOC Sharing Portal Reports. When you click on that, you'll see a few different types of reports, and it gives you the explanation for each one. You can always click on these, run them, see what is, what the detail is and how you best want to use them. The key thing that I want to show you is the second from the bottom is volunteers and connections searchable. Okay. So when you click here, there's a bit of information that you're going to be able to see. I'm going to be able to see all of my volunteer opportunities since I began posting them. And I'm going to be able to see all of the connections since then. Now, what's great about this, and you'll see here, I'm going to make this a little bigger. I'm not sure if you all can see this okay. But what's great, you can filter, and then you can also sort here. Now, all the information is not available at this moment because I've got the columns kind of shift to the right, and for some reason I don't have my scrolling bar. But you'll see start date, end time, all kinds of things to the right. They're not showing up right now. But this is the kicker, is the CSV button right here. I can click and I can generate that report in Excel. And then I can do all kinds of sorting. Let's say you want to you want to email every person who has ever registered with your organization, then you can do that. I'm going to show you how it pops up. Now here, you are going to have to pull some of the columns and things like that. Not a big deal to see, but you'll see phone numbers if they've had them. You'll see their email addresses here. And most of you are probably familiar with sorting and so on. Here's their phone number. So let's say you just wanted to delete all this stuff, attendance status, and so on. You can just delete that. You've got this information up here. You can sort by that volunteer opportunity name, and then click and pick all of those people. Let's say you want to send them a thank you, and you want to send them a thank you not from the email within Volunteer Connect. Copy and paste these and you're good to go. Or you've got everybody who's ever participated. Either way, you've got a long list or a list of helpful information. So those reports, all of them can be downloaded to Excel. You can take a look at those, see which ones might be helpful for you. Let's go back here. So there you go. That information can be run, and it's all in real time, which is very helpful, of course. So if there's ever anything that you have a question about, please let me know. As I mentioned with these volunteer opportunities, if you do create an opportunity and the schedule and the registration type are not what you wanted to do, wanted to use, email me. I can take care of that. I can also help you with occurrences if they're not correct, or you have a question about something. Some of the occurrences you can change, like your date and time specific ones. You can change the date and the time, especially for those that are non-recurring. That's easy to do. But when you have those recurring ones and it's more, like I said, than maybe 5 or 10 for you to change, I'm happy to help you with that. All right, so are there any questions? You all have been quiet, so hopefully that's a good thing, which means this has been helpful or pretty clear. If you have any questions, please let me know. We are going live with a new website soon, but you'll see login very easily from the website. We're probably going to send out an email just to let Volunteer Connect partners know that. Really hope you're using Volunteer Connect. We are the state's official volunteer opportunities platform, started only a year ago, a little over a year ago, and are so pleased with having these organizations like yours registering. We are very focused on constant advertising and marketing to Florida to let them know what Volunteer Connect is. So that's something that's a benefit, is we want all over the state for people to come to Volunteer Connect to find their volunteer opportunities. The other thing is we encourage you to also post on any other sites. If you have local sites and so on, we really believe more visibility, more volunteers. That's really the kicker for us. But we do want you to post with us. It's kind of like having your post on multiple radio stations. But we do have these other features that I think are really helpful for people. Many of you probably have your own software or your own way of doing things, but you certainly have some options here with Volunteer Connect. So I see, hi Sandra. Okay, I will touch base with you. I'm writing your information down now. And I don't see any other questions from you all. So you're with Manna. Okay, great. All right, so I really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being a part of the webinar. Please let me know, again, volunteer@volunteerflorida.org if you have any questions, and we're so glad that you are registered for Volunteer Connect. Last thing, I keep saying last thing, but we are hosting October 27th through 29th. It's called Volunteer Leadership Virtual Convening, and we're going to have about 16 sessions of information for you all on volunteer management. This is free, as I mentioned, and we're really excited. You can register for all the sessions. Just a few of the sessions, they'll also be recorded. We have some national speakers. We have people from Florida to talk about things like mental health and volunteerism, diversity, equity and inclusion in volunteerism. We're going to cover, things like strategic planning, recruitment, orienting and training volunteers, selecting volunteers. But we're also covering those that I mentioned. We're covering pro bono volunteerism, volunteerism and risk management, just quite a few different options. So we'll be emailing all of you about that, but I hope you mark your calendars. We're going to have some great keynotes. You can participate in any of the sessions you want. You can participate in just one. Very flexible. It's for any volunteer manager, anyone really who has an interest in just kind of growing in volunteer management. So we're really excited about that, and you'll be hearing more information from us about that. So thank you again, and thank you for your time. All right, take care and have a good rest of the day.